ठीक है. On. Hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to day 4. How are you people? And how was this yesterday's session? Did yesterday's session improve your performance management skills? Uh, so, and overall 3 days up till now, how these 3 days were? Did you get the confidence? And especially when I say theory, so did you learn how to break the verbs, question into verbs and objects or elements, and how to figure out how many elements are there, and especially the categories? So, okay. So let's take a 2 minute, let's wait for 2 minutes so that people can join, and then we'll start. So let's take 2 minutes and let's wait for others to join so that we can proceed then. Okay. All right then. Let's start the proceedings for today. On. Okay. So let's start with day 4, and this day 4 uh, is another very important session today, and let's see what plan we need to follow today. So it's a turn of decision making today, and first we will start with decision making. Yesterday in performance measurement, I did cover the categories. Those were really important. Do watch that video again, and it will definitely help you a lot, and it will improve your skills to break the question and understand what is being asked. Okay. So let's begin. First, let's look at the agenda for today. We will be starting with CVP analysis. I'll be doing a latest question that was tested in the previous attempt, and it was a really good question. Question like these are more expected in the paper. Then we'll move towards all-time favorite for everybody. It's relevant costing. We'll do a question on that. Then we will be moving towards pricing. We will try to solve a question on that as well. Okay. So after that, it's again Q&A at the end, and the break will be at the same 5:30 to 5:40. Okay. So let's start with CVP analysis without wasting much time. Cost volume profit analysis. There are 3 major workings. In fact, there are 4 workings. The fourth is of target profit. but I'm covering the major ones. That is weighted average CS ratio, weighted average break even, and third is weighted average margin of safety. So as you know, first I will give you a recap and then we'll move quickly towards the question, okay, to learn the technique, how to handle question like this in the examination. So basically, in CVP analysis, as CVP is a planning technique, so CVP analysis requires you to work out three major things. That is CS ratio, contribution to sales ratio, break even point where there's no profit, no loss, and margin of safety. So we can see here the formulas of these as well, where you can see weighted average CS ratio is basically worked out when you have more than one products. Okay, so whenever you see the word weighted average, as you can see here, as you can see here, and as you can see here, so this is something that you use when you have more than one product. Okay, so when you have more than one product, you go for weighted average. But if you don't have more than one product, so in that case you go for uh, single, I would say single product. If there is a single product, so in that case you don't go for a weighted average. So you can even use this for single product as well, but if it is more than one product, then you have to do the working on the basis of weighted average. Okay, so weighted average CS ratio is what you need to work out. So the formula is total contribution for all products, okay, and total sales revenue for all products. So this means this is clearly showing that there are more than one products. After that, break even basically indicates the point of no profit and no loss. So it's total fixed cost divided by weighted average contribution per unit. And this is a formula through which you can work out break even in terms of units. Okay, so if you want to work out break even in terms of units, you can use this formula, right? And if you want to work out break even in terms of what you say in terms of total revenue, so instead of contribution per unit, you can take CS ratio weighted average, and you will get the answer of break even in terms of revenue. Okay, margin of safety basically indicates the area of safety. I would say the area where the company is earning profits. It's after the break even, so you can work out this by total sales units minus total break even units. So it indicates the area where you are actually earning profits, right? So as I mentioned, if it's a single product situation, then you don't need to use weighted average. All these formulas are applicable, but those will not be based on weighted average contribution per unit or weighted average CS ratio per unit, CS ratio, right? But if it is more than one product, obviously you need to go for the weighted average workings. Okay, so let's start with section C question. It's a numerical question. Answering numerical question also requires a structured layout. Every day I am emphasizing a lot on these things so that your calculation can be followed. Your examiner will want to know the calculation that you've exactly done, and for that you need to do proper workings. Any working should be clearly labeled, which means you have to show the reference of the workings. Using spreadsheet tool with its functionality can allow you to work through calculations quite quickly. Yeah, it is true, and it can save your time in the paper. So this is a quick advice for numerical questions for the spreadsheet. Let's now begin with our first question for today, and that is our latest question, health nuts question. Latest question. So let's begin with this one. This is a hybrid September December 2020 exam. So very latest question we are doing today. I'll just move towards the chat box, and we'll take up certain questions before I start. First of all, those who are new to today's session, this is my WhatsApp number. You can see this screen. You can just send me a quick WhatsApp if you are not still part of my groups. Okay, So if you're not still part of the groups, please just send me a quick WhatsApp and I will share the group link with you people for the further support, right? Secondly, yeah, uh, let me take certain questions. Will you cover risk and uncertainty? Risk and uncertainty I've covered in my previous webinar. So the $1 million plan that I will share with you people, you will get the link of that. So you can cover that from that previous webinar. Okay. Okay, no more questions now. Let's begin. Okay, so the question is health nuts. So let's see what the question is about. Let's read this requirements first very quickly. Okay, calculate both the number of health, the number of customers health nuts needs to break even. Okay, so this is break even working, and margin of safety as a percentage for the month of June. This is for gym and for cafe. So gym has 3 marks, okay, and cafe has 2 marks. So first I'm required to work out two things: break even, right, and margin of safety as a percentage for the month of June. So let's begin with the calculation, but for that we need to read the scenario. It's a very good scenario, so do try to figure out important things, and I'll just highlight everything that will help us to solve. Health Nuts is a fitness center offering pay as you go gym facilities. It has a fully fitted gym with the capacity to accommodate 200 users at one time. Okay. It also has 100 car parking spaces and an an on-site cafe, both which are only for customers using the gym. The fitness center has shower facilities, and Health Nuts provides all customers with clean towel to use on entry. It is open 360 days a year from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. Customers pay, now this is important to note down, customer pay 8.4 for access to the gym. So it's basically the price that they charge for 1 hour plus unlimited time in the cafe. Okay, so it's a price of 1 hour and unlimited time in cafe. If customers want to use car park, they have to pay an additional $1 per visit. Okay, this is additional, and 80% of customers visiting customers use the car park. So this is also important that they charge $1 for the parking, and 80% of the customers basically use this. Okay. Is it better now? Can you view the screen clearly now? Akif Shah, is this clear? Because I don't have any option here to zoom, but this is what I did, so I hope maybe it looks much better now, right? Okay, thank you. So let's move on. Health Nuts has been monitoring a number of customers attending throughout each day for the month of June, which was considered to be an average month, for which Health Nuts was open for 30 days. Okay, it has determined that average number of customers per day is 330. Okay, let's underline or highlight this, with 40 of these customers attending during the time of 40 of these customers during the time of 9 a.m. and 5 p.m. Okay, so 330 per day are the visitors, and 40 of these basically visit between 9 and 5. The rest obviously are working people, so they used to come after 5 o'clock. Okay, the total cost of the fitness center for the gym, excluding the cafe, have also been recorded and analyzed as follows. So fixed cost per month. So try to figure out, this is per month, which is important to highlight. It's per month, right? Variable costs per customer. This is also per customer, 1.2. On average, half of the customers, also use cafe in June, which means the total that are coming there, so half are using the cafe. So how many are coming there? So it's 330 who are coming there. So the half of 330 you can work out very easily. Those are the one that are basically using the cafe as well. Okay. With an average spend with an average spend per customer of 2.2. Okay, so the amount of spending is given here. On this spend, 60% related to drinks. Okay, from this 2.2, 60% relates to drink, which have a profit margin of 60%. Okay, that's interesting. So much percentages. So 60% is drinks, and on that 60%, 60% is their margin as well. The remainder related to food items. So I'm sure the remainder is basically how much? Remainder is 40%, right? So the remainder is 40%, which have a profit margin of 40%. Okay, that's nice. The specific fixed cost associated with running cafe are 3,600 for the month. So fixed cost is given to us separately. This means that if fixed cost is given separately, and this is basically and this is basically the profit margin they are talking about. So technically it's basically the contribution, right? Because fixed cost, if it is given separately, so this profit margin will be counted as your contribution. Okay, so I'm sure this is clear. Now for approaching OT case questions, it's good to move requirement by requirement rather than reading the entire scenario and confusing yourself. So I've just read what was required for this part A, and now I'm moving towards part A, and I've read the important requirements here. So let's start with the solution. Let's see how to handle this. So break even is what I need to work out, friends, and margin of safety is what I need to work out. And I've already seen the formula of that. So let's have a quick recap of the formula again. So it's basically, you can see here, this is the formula for break even, and this is the formula for a margin of safety. Now the question here is that, are we supposed to work out the weighted average? We have to combine these. So it's not the case, because it's very clearly written here that you have to work out this separately. Okay, so will do calculation of gym and cafe separately. So we will assume these two to be as your standalone products. Okay, so we will consider this as a standalone product. We will not combine these two, because the question has stated that you have to work out the break even and margin of safety for gym, okay, and then for cafe. So it doesn't mean that we have to work out the weighted average one. We don't have to combine here, because the question has stated you need to work out separately, and if we are required to work out separately, then we will do separate calculations, because marks are also given to us for working separately. So let's begin with part A here, and let's start the solution. Let's see how to handle this on a spreadsheet. So part A1 is what I am solving. Okay, now I need to work out, this is for gym. Examiner does says show us logical structure every time, so let me try to show you a logical structure that makes more sense to you people as well. Now let's start first with the gym. So we need to work out break even for the gym, so you will write break even. Okay, and the formula of break even is fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, right? So what can I do here is that I can work out the contribution per unit first, right? And I can show the working of contribution that is important for me. So let's do the working here as well. Let's make this a working area. Okay, and okay, so working area we have, let's work out contribution per unit. So how to do calculation of contribution? It's not at all difficult. You can do the entire calculation in one cell. Okay. So do we have selling price here? Yeah, we have selling price of gym, right? We have selling price of gym, and that is 8.4. Okay. Now, what do you think? This is the entry fee that they take, right? This is the entry fee that they take, and I we also charge for the parking. So okay, and then the parking is 1%, sorry, $1 per visit. Okay, and 80% of the customers use the parking. So should I incorporate the fee of parking as well? Yeah, I should incorporate the fee of parking as well, because that is also important to consider. So I will work out the uh, selling price, and let me just show you revenue. First is the entry, and entry is 8.4. I'm just showing you the working. That's why I'm doing a bit detailed working, but you can do the entire in one cell. That is okay. And the parking, right? So parking, what should I do, friends? For parking, it says $1. So if I take $1 here, if I take $1 here, so in that case, what happens? In that case, that will not be valid. Reason is that 80% of the people who use the parking services, and there are 20% who don't pay for it, right? So we can't basically take entire $1 per visit. Obviously, we have to consider that as well. So what I'll do is I'll take the expected figure here, and expected figure is what I need to consider here. So I'll do this very small working of this one, and I need to take the expected figure in this case, right? So how will I take the expected figure? So it's 1 multiplied by zero point 0.8, you know. The reason is that not everybody is using this, and this means that as I'm required to work out the break even, so I do need to consider the fact that 80% will only take up, right? So I do need to consider this fact. Okay, are you getting my point? So to make numbers look realistic, to work out realistic, so we only have to use that proportion. So I'll just multiply this 80%, and this will give me the uh, expected value of this amount, and this expected value is zero point 0.8. Okay, so once I've done this, now I can work out the selling price. So let's add these two, and the selling price will be 9.2. So this will be my selling price per unit, and I'm sure you are clear that why did I multiply this with 80%? I just took expected value. Okay, and the reason for taking expected value is that 20% never gives you, right? Which means that you have to take the expected average selling price for the parking. So we are taking average selling price for the parking here, and that is 80%. Okay. So the expected value is clear. You have seen the working of expected value, and this is the selling price. Now we have, okay. Do we have variable cost? Yeah, we do have a variable cost per unit as well, and that's 1.2, right? So once I will deduct variable cost from the selling price, as you can see, I'm doing here in front of you. So I will get contribution per unit, okay, of $8, right? So this is the contribution per unit of $8 that I'm getting here, and I'm sure you don't have any problem in this one. So it's contribution per unit of $8, right? If you feel like you're not clear about anything, please do write in the chat box once I ask you, not right now, once I complete, and I'll give you the chance to ask. Okay, so this is contribution now. So let's move on towards the calculation of the break even. So how much is the fixed cost per month? The fixed cost per month that is given to me per month, it's 48,000, right? So 48,000 is the fixed cost per month, divided by contribution. You can, you know, this is the linking that you can do in the paper, right? So 48,000 divided by contribution per unit will give me break even. So you have a good look at this. 48,000 is the fixed cost divided by contribution per unit, and you're getting answer of 6,000, which means 6,000 customers you need in a month, 6,000 customers per month you need to break even. Okay, so we need 6,000 customers per month to break even, and this is the first requirement for 3 marks, but it's not yet ended because I've just worked out the break even. I also need to work out the margin of safety in this case. So I hope this is clear. In case of gym, presentation looks simple, clear, and examiner will be easily able to figure out what working exactly I've done here. Now, let's move towards the next one. And okay, let's now let's work out margin of safety. So what formula does margin of safety requires? So the margin of safety requires a formula of total sales units minus the break-even units. Okay, now let me take one question from Anam Noor. She says, sir, what we uh, do if fixed cost is not given in per month? So we'll make this per month. If now it all depends on the requirement, Anam, because you see part A has mentioned this to be per month. So that's why you took per month fixed cost. If the question will say work out for per year, so in that case you will take per year fixed cost. That's it. Okay. Now, for MOS, margin of safety, what are we supposed to do, friends? It's very simple. For that, we have break even, but we don't have one thing, and that is what we don't have the total number of customers that we have for gym, right? So what to do for this? I need total sales units, right? So I need total customers. And how will I be able to work out total customers? So let's have a look here. Total customers is what I need to work out. Okay. Now, as per the question, 330 per day, and the calculation that we are doing is all monthly basis, right? Monthly basis, because we just worked out break even per month. So it's 330 customers per day. Okay, it's per day 330. Now what I need to do is that I can work out very easily 330 per day, and it's open for how many days in a month? So the question has stated that it opens for 30 days in a month. So it's open for 30 days in a month. So yeah, for that I need to take 30 days. So it's very simple. We have 330 per day. I'll multiply with this with 30. So in that case, I will get the figure. So it's 330 per day into 30 makes 9,900 is the total number of customers I have. So 9,900 working I've done here. And see, my working will be linked with the answer, so the examiner can easily relate how I've done the working. This is what you need to learn in this exam, right? You can't just input the figures. You can't just use calculators. This is what I'm telling you again and again. So now I will quickly have a clear link here, and you can see what exactly I'm going to do here. So it's simple. It's 9,900. Everybody can see very clearly 9,900 minus the break even. Okay, and break even is 6,000. See, so the examiner when will open this cell will get to know, okay, this is B14 deducted from C3, and this is how you have worked out. So the examiner can follow your workings, can follow your calculation, and this is what is required in the paper, right? So make sure you do set up a logical structure of your answer with proper references and connections that makes easy for the examiner to follow what you have done. Now, this is 3,900 is the margin of safety per month, as we were required to work out per month. And for this, you will be getting 3 marks, obviously 2 marks for break even, okay, and 1 mark for MOS, because MOS has a less weightage, obviously. So I'll just make this red so that it becomes more prominent to you people that this is the marking scheme. So 2 marks for break even and 1 mark for MOS, and I'm sure you don't have any problem here. Yeah. I'll just divide this with the revenue. These are in units. I will just work out as a percentage because yeah, it's my bad. It was written here as a percentage. Yeah, thank you. It was not required in units, so it was in percentage. So I'll do this. I just convert this into percentage, which is not an issue, obviously. It's simple. You can have a look here. I'll open this cell again. Okay, and sales units minus break-even units divided by break-even divided by sales units again. So I'll just connect this again with P14. So this is the formula for as a percentage. Okay, so I'm working out as a percentage, right? So here you have, and you can convert this into percentage. So no decimal as such policy is mentioned here. So I don't think nothing is mentioned, so I can use this on my own. And let's convert this into 2 decimal places. So this is 39.39 as percentage of sales, right? So MOS was required as percentage of sales. So for that, I just had to divide this with the sales units to work out this as a percentage of sales, right? Okay, now let's take certain questions. We have, sir, no need to consider the 40 customers from 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Obviously, we have considered that because 330 includes those 40, right? As it says, 330 with 40 customers attending during the daytime. So out of these 330, 40 customers attend during the daytime. So I've already considered that, right? Okay, now done with this one. The workings are pretty much clear to all of you. Let's now move towards part 2 of this requirement, which required us to work out the same thing for the other product. And the product now is cafe. So let's do the working for cafe. Let's work out break even for cafe first, and then the margin of safety for cafe. Okay. So, okay. Now, I need to read the information relating to cafe that is given to me here. So I've highlighted this paragraph. Let's see, it says that half of the customers, which means total are 9,900. So the half, you can just divide this with 2. Half of the customers also use cafe with an average spend per customer of 2.2. Okay. So now again for break even, what I need here. So for break even, I need the selling price, right? So let's again do workings. Let's start with selling price. Okay, now let's work out the selling price. So it says that drink selling price I need to first work out. So it's 2.2 and 60% is of drink. So in 2.2, 60% is of drink. Okay, you can see the highlighted paragraph. So 60% is drink, right? And food is obviously the remaining percentage. So 2.2 multiplied by 0.4, 40% will be related to food. So the remainder related to food, right? So this will be 0.88. Now these are the selling prices I worked out. Okay. Now I need contribution. Obviously for break even I do need contribution. So these are the selling prices. So what I can do is that I can now easily work out the contribution as well, which is basically the profit margin given here. So I can work out the contribution per unit as well. So let's see. In case of drink, it says that in this same paragraph, you can, I'm sure you are able to look here. It says that 60% related to drinks, which have a profit margin of 60%. Okay. So what I'll do here is in this case, I will multiply this with the profit margin percentage of 0.6 again. Okay. So this will be the contribution. I'm sure you are getting my point. So it's 1.32 the selling price into 60% is the profit margin, which is technically the contribution of 0.792. 0.792. Okay. For food, it says that the remainder related to food, that was 40%. I did the working of 40%. Okay. And it says that which have a profit margin of 40%. So now do the same thing. Let's do the same thing here for this as well. So what are we supposed to do? You can see here it's 0.88 into 0.4. This is the 40% that I'm taking here, and this is the contribution. So food contribution is 0.352 and drink contribution is 0.792. Okay. If I add these two, so I get the total contribution of cafe. I'm adding these two to get the total contribution of cafe, and this is contribution total for cafe that I have worked out in front of you. Okay. Now, let's take a question here. Please, why is the profit margin contribution per unit? Obviously, because you can see here the fixed cost, specific fixed cost is given to you separately, right? As I am highlighting here. So the fixed cost is given separately. So this means a fixed cost is separate to this, right? And if it is separate to this, so this is your contribution. Okay. Now let's move on towards the final break-even answer. So we have worked out the contribution per unit. Fixed cost is 3,600 per month divided by 1.144 is basically the contribution per unit. And here we have the fixed cost answer. And let's see what the answer are we getting in this case. So I think we need to just bring this to one decimal place. And I can do this. I have an option to go to, in fact, I can use this option, the 10th option from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10th option. And if I use this 10th option, so this will be 3147. Okay, so 3147 is the answer of break even. This is break even per month. Hope this is clear to all of you, right? So done with this one, 3147. Please, I hope this is clear. Right after this working, I will ask you if you have any questions. Now let's move towards MOS. So what I need here is again the total customers using cafe. So the question has stated that I'll just highlight again, on average half of the customers used cafe in June. Okay, half of the customers. So now how many customers do we have total? It's 9,900, right? So if I make this half, so how much will it be? So let's link with the cell, which is again important from examination point of view. Linking this divided with 2. Okay, this divided with 2, 9,900 divided with 2, you get 4,950 as your total customers who are using your cafe. Okay, so it's the total customers using cafe. This is equivalent to total sales units. And now let's work out the MOS. So is equals to 4,950. I can just open a bracket here because I need to convert this into percentage. So total revenue, not total revenue, total number of customers. Okay, and break even is in front of you. So this is break even, right? So like this, you can work out the MOS, right? So this is MOS units, and you divide this with the total customers again. And once you divide this with total customers again, so you get the answer in terms of percentage, and this will be MOS as a percentage of sales revenue, okay, or sales units, I would say. Okay, so you can see the working I've done here. It's total units minus break even divided by total units, and I'm getting an answer I will just round this answer and we'll convert this into percentage, and this will be 36.43. Okay, 36.43. Okay, now let's take a question here from another student. Sir, why we are not calculating the weighted average contribution for the cafe? Okay. Uh, if we were required to work out weighted average, we would never had done for cafe only. Weighted average means that we have to do the working for both the products, right? Or both the services. So in that case, we would have done working for gym and cafe together. That is only when we work out weighted average. But if you see here, the question has never stated us to do this. The question just required calculate both the number of customers and MOS for gym. So it says gym, which means separately for gym, and cafe separately for cafe. So we are not required to do this. So why will we do this? Okay. Now, as for the marks, friends, again, more marks you will get in this case. So it's 1.5 marks you will get for cafe break-even, and 1.5 marks, sorry, zero point 0.5 marks, I would say. 0.5 marks you will get for the margin of safety. And if you see, I'll highlight these again for you people. So you are able to understand that these are the marking numbers you will get. So more for break even, obviously less for MOS. So we are done with the 5 marks. Now quickly, can you give me your feedback? Is this clear, everyone? Anything you need to ask? Is it simple, sound, easy? Did this become easy for you to understand? A quick feedback, please, from everyone. Okay. So how would we know the profit margin? I already told Alex before, because the fixed cost was given separately, and if fixed cost was given separately, so this is obviously the contribution now, right? So that's why profit margin, yeah, it's a bit confusing, but I'm already explaining in the same time that because fixed cost is given separately, so this is basically your contribution, okay? I've already replied Isha the same question. Why we use zero point 0.8? I already mentioned that, as the question has stated, uh, 1 is the selling price, 80%. So I took expected value. You know how to work out expected value? Expected value is 80% will pay 1 and 20% will pay 0. Okay. So the EV is what? 0.8. Okay. Fazil, 40 number of customers 40 are mentioning here, that 330 visit you per day, and from those 330, 40 visit you 9 from 9 till 5. So it is mentioning the time period for them. That's it, nothing more. I didn't left 40. You are not getting the point. See, try to understand English here. So this is a flaw that we do. Try to understand the English. It says number of customers per day is 330 with 40 of these customers attending during the time with. So it is clear that this 330 includes 40. Okay. So we people need to understand the words, and this is a problem that our students are doing in the paper. They're not understanding the right sentence. They're not understanding the English that is mentioned here, to be honest. Okay. Okay, how we got the customers for cafe? I did explain that. I don't know why you were not listening. It says that on average, half of the customers also use the cafe in Jew. Half, right? Half. So the total customers that you have is 9,900 who attended the gym. Okay, so just make it half, divide this with 2, and you will get the figure of 4950. So you just have to divide 9,900 with 2. This is how you'll get the half figure. Okay. Sir, please explain cafe statement. I am not getting selling price statement. Okay. I did explain this as well. It was very clearly mentioned here, but yeah, it was a bit tricky, you can understand this. So it was mentioning that 2.2 is the selling price for the cafe. out of this 60% related to drinks and uh, remainder related to food. So what I did was that I took 60%, that is 1.32 drink, and of 2.2 I took 40%, that is 0.88. Are you getting my point? Spend means revenue. Obviously spend is revenue, right? They spend. If customer spend, you get the revenue. Okay, you are a cafe, so if people pay you, if they spend, if they buy something from cafe, you get the revenue. So for you it's a revenue, right? So this is the selling price per unit, and it says that out of this selling price, food 60%. So 60% is a profit. So 1.3 to 60% I took here, and this is your profit for drink. Profit here is contribution. Okay, profit here is contribution just because that fixed cost was separately mentioned 3600. So this is your contribution. And again here I did the same thing. 40% was the contribution for the food. Okay. Okay. So I hope this is clear to everyone, the way I've done the contribution working, and I just added these two. So this addition will give you contribution. Everyone, is this clear to all of you? Now, this is a confusing case study, but confusing for those who are not understanding the English sentences, to be honest here. Okay. So you need to read it, just try to understand. Whenever numbers are, just try to read it. Okay. Okay, why we got 60%? I'm not understanding what you've written. 60% for 60, not clear what you've written here. Okay. Now, so selling price is for access to the gym. Yeah, that's for 1 hour, but uh, this is assumed here that people stay there for 1 hour, right? So nothing has mentioned that they spend 2 hours or 3 hours. So that is why we would have, in that case, we would have multiplied with the number of hours. So it's 8.0. So this means per hour per unit, because nothing has been mentioned that people stay for more hours. So we'll assume that they come for 1 hour. That's it. Okay, a good question, to be honest, but yeah, this is clear. Okay, so I hope this is clear to all of you. You have seen the workings that I did in front of you. It's 2.2, 60%. Again, you can see it's 2.2, 40%. And of this, I took 60% as the contribution. And for this, I took 40% as the contribution, right? Yeah, that's good. That was a good question, to be honest. Okay, friends. So done with this. The scenario is confusing just because that that's why you need to read the sentence very carefully. So now understood. Our problem clear? Are all the problems clear? Say yes quickly so that I may proceed. Yeah, it was a bit confusing. Yeah, but that's why I explained you. Ammar, you are writing in a chat box. So this is a chat box where you have to write. I don't know why you are confused about it. Okay, now let's move on to the next requirement. It says explain, examinable verb is explain what each of your calculations in A tells the company about the performance of the gym and cafe. So again, this requirement should have been on a word processing sheet, but right now it's not here. It should have been on word processing sheet, but it's not here. But it's a 3-mark requirement, so it will not be a bother here. So let's now consider this requirement. So what are we supposed to write? What we'll write here? What this information actually indicates. I'll just write quick bullet points to give you the idea what you have to write here. So first I'll start with break even. So can you tell me what break even actually indicates an organization? So I can write here break even indicates that number of customers required, okay, to cover the fixed cost. Okay, it's simple. Number of customers required to cover the fixed cost. This is what indicated by break even, right? So the Health Nuts Fitness Center will exactly know that in case of gym, they need how many customers? They need 6,000. Okay, they need 6,000, and in case of cafe, they need 3,147. So in case of gym, they need 6,000 customers to cover their fixed costs, and in case of cafes, they need 3,147. So this information will help them to understand that the minimum number of customers they require to cover the break even. So this is done for break even. Okay, that's simple, straight, and no problem in this one as well. Then coming towards margin of safety, obviously you will get even marks here. 1.5 marks for the explanation of break even, and 1.5 marks you will get for the explanation of margin of safety. So as you can see here, that 1.5 marks you will get here in case of break even. I'm just mentioning here the marking scheme. You have to write in a paragraph. Yeah, if you ask me, I will, before you ask me, I'll tell you, you have to write this in a paragraph form. This in a paragraph form, okay? But because this is not given on a spread word processing sheet, so it's difficult to write here. But obviously in examination, this will be given on a spreadsheet, okay? Okay. So done with this one. What break even indicates? It indicates how many customers the business requires to cover the fixed cost. So 6,000 for gym and cafe 3,147. Okay. Now coming towards margin of safety, what margin of safety indicates? It indicates the profit area. Okay. That is how much percent sales can fall before it reaches break even. Okay, so actually margin of safety, percentage margin of safety indicates what? It indicates that how much percent you can allow sales to fall, right? So if you know the basics of MOS indicates that how much percent you can allow the sales to fall. So we can write here, in case of the first product, we can allow 39% is the answer for this one, and 36 is answer for this one. Almost both have the same MOS percentage here. So what we will mention here, that in case of gym, it's 36%. I'm not writing the precise figure. And in case of cafes, it's 39%. Okay, so what it indicates, it will indicate that how much percent sales can fall before it reaches the break even. This is basically the profit area for an organization. So Health Nuts will get to know that how much percent they can allow sales to fall. Obviously they don't want to they don't want sales to go down, but it gives them the margin, how much margin they have. So it gives the information about how much margin do they have before the sales, before the sale reaches the break-even point. Okay, so 36% and 39% is the margin of safety. It's the profit area, and this is giving Health Nuts an idea, an indication that you can, if your sales starts to fall, so you have this margin, and after that you will reach to the break even. Okay, so it's 36 and 39%. Agreed, guys? Okay. So performance, yeah, exactly. This is what I've mentioned here, that they get to know that obviously they get to know that from gym, how the gym is performing, right? In terms of performance, if you say so, you can write how the gym is performing. So it gives you the idea that there is 36% margin in case of gym, and 39% margin in case of cafe. So obviously it giving you the idea that there is a good margin of safety or not. So 40% is approximately, I would say, in general, it's a good space you have before you reach the break even. So it is giving you the idea that, yeah, it's performing in terms of margin of safety. It is a good margin of safety. I know, okay, we need some kind of a benchmark to compare some targets, but we don't have a target. So in general, we'll say that this is the space they have, and they have to, ensure that the sales doesn't fall. The maximum limit that they have is this percentage. Okay. Okay. In case of gym, it's 30. Yeah, in case of gym is 39%, and in case of this is 36%. I just changed this. Yeah. Okay. So guys, are we clear about this requirement as well? So this is not a tough one. Okay. Done. Through. Clear. Agreed, everyone. So done with this first part of total 8 marks. Let's move on towards the next part, and let's see what is required to be done next. Okay. Now comes the next part. This is of 6 marks. It's a bigger part, and I just read that relevant area which was confined to those first two requirements. Now let's read the next one. It says calculate the budgeted total weighted average contribution to sales ratio. Now you know what this is. This is weighted average contribution to sales ratio. Now when the word weighted average is being used, so remember, then it's clear that you have to combine the products. Okay, it will be a total revenue for all the products is the weighted average now. Okay, now it is giving you the idea that you have to use multi-product here. And the budgeted profit per month for health and nuts if it closed the cafe and opens. Oh, now let's see the next proposal. What proposal we have? If they close cafe and go for the other option. So let's read the proposal here. After reviewing all information above, the manager of Health Nuts has put together a proposal to close the cafe at the fitness center and convert into a rich for children's. Okay, so this means now they want to convert this into something that will help people to keep their kids as well. Okay, so the proposal is very much clear in front of you, and they want to close the cafe and they want to convert this for the children's. So let's see what it says. It would mean that parents would leave their children in the veg while they use fitness center between 9 and 5 p.m. only. Okay, now they will just keep their kids there in that space, and they can go for the gym. They can do their gymming, right? The charge for this would be 4 per child per hour. 4 per child per hour. And once again, we know that every person that comes to the gym remains there for 1 hour. Okay, but this facility is only open, you need to consider this, and this is what examiner did here very beautifully. This facility was given for 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and that's why now we will see that we also have 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. information given here, and this was for 40 customers who are here. Okay, now just try to understand the way it will be linked with these two things. So 9 to 5 p.m. only. Okay. Initial research suggests that customers have an average 2 children. So Every customer has on an average 2 children. Okay. The Reg is expected to attract new customers and increase the average number of customers between 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. by 300%. Wow. Now just tell me one thing. Come on, you just tell me one thing. Right now in the gym, how many customers we have between 9 and 5? Quickly, how many customers we have right now between 9 and 5? So the answer right now is 40. Not 330, Fahad. Between 9 and 5, it's 40. Okay. Now, because of this, the customers will increase by 300%. Can you imagine? 300%, which means that right now it's 40. So what is 300% of 40? What is 300% of 40? So 300% of 40 is how much? It's 120. It's 120. Okay. I'm telling you here, don't ask me later on how 120 came. It's 300% of 40. Okay. It's 300% of 40 is 120, which means if I multiply 40 with 1.3, so I will get answer of 140. Sorry, 120. 300%. Multiply by 3. Okay. Not 1.33. Getting the point, everyone? 40 multiplied by 3 is 120. Not 1.3, it's 300%. What do you think? It's a good idea? It's a good idea? Yeah, it's a good idea. So 40 multiplied by 3, that is 120. 300% it says. Okay, it's not 1.3. 1.3 means 30%. It means 30%. Okay, it's 300%. 300%. So multiply by 3 if you do, that makes 120. Okay, now that's 120, and it's a big thing, it's a good thing. So let's move on. Only these new customers will use the facilities. Car park is expected to continue to 80%. Car park will not change. The fixed costs associated with running this are estimated to be 8,000 per month, specific to this only, and 0.5 is the variable cost per child per hour. It should not be 160, please. Come on, right now it's 40. So you don't know how much is 300% of 40? 300% of 40 is what? 120. 40 multiplied by 3. Okay. 160 means 400%. Okay. No, you don't have to add that 40. Right? By 300%, it will increase. So this means it goes to one additional I'm talking about. This is the additional figure we are working out right now. Additional figure. Yeah, it's the additional one, incremental one. It says by. Okay, it says by. Look at this. It says by. Yeah. So if it says by, which means the additional we are talking about. So additional is 120. Altogether, that will be okay. That makes to 160, but additionally we're talking about is 120. Yeah, total is right. Total is right. Yeah. Okay, now done with this one. Let's start the calculation. I need to work out weighted average CS ratio. So what is the formula that I will be following here? The formula is the total contribution for all products divided by total sales revenue for all products. Okay, so total contribution I need. Let's begin the calculation here. Now this is again important to figure out what I'm doing. Please be with me. I'll be using my previous calculation here as well. So now I have two products to keep in my mind. One is the gym, okay, and second is this new. Okay, so there are two products to keep in my mind. Cafes are closed, so don't consider cafes. Okay, cafes are closed. Now let's start with gym working first. For gym, I need total contribution and total sales revenue for gym, right? Total contribution, total sales revenue for gym. So how will I work out? So you know that because of this service, 120 customers will be added and 120 customers will start now coming to gym. Are you getting the point? 120 customers will now start coming to gym. Do you agree with me? You should agree with me. Which means currently how many they used to have? I need to work out the weighted average, right? Okay. So let's start with the workings first. Okay, now currently how many they have? Currently they have 330 per day. Okay, per day, right? Because of this new proposal, new that will add it to the gym will be, I've already shown you the working. Let me do it here. 40 multiplied by 3, 120. Okay, 40 multiplied by 3, 120 per day will be added. So now total number of customers will go to how much? 450. Okay, 450. Listen to me carefully, understand the calculations. If you still have any question, I'll explain that once I'm done with the calculation. Okay, so this is clear. Yeah, the 40 is included in 330. We know that, right? The 40 is included in 330. Yeah, this is included in 330. Okay, so 120 are the additional ones, new ones. The existing are 320. That makes four. That makes to total 450. Getting the point, everyone? Okay. Yeah, that's why we didn't took 160. Exactly. Exactly. So now days, how many days? 30 days. So total customers for a month will be how much? Customers per month are how much, friends? 13,500. Okay, getting the point? Okay. Faiz, you're wrong. 120 has been added, not 80. Okay, because the question has stated by 300. By 300 means that 40 is currently, and by 300 means that further 120 have been added. Okay, so it's not uh, that you thought that it's 80, it's 120. Okay, additional by 300. Now done. Okay, done. So for gym I need profits. For gym I need profits, right? So it's very simple. I already know, I've done the calculation before, so I'll just use my previous calculations. I'll just go back quickly. I hope I have the workings. Yeah, I have. Now, for gym, what was the revenue per unit? 9.2. Okay, I'll just highlight this again. And contribution, how much? Contribution 8. I'm using these two figures, so please have a good look at these two. Okay, so selling price of gym is 9.2. Contribution per unit of gym is 8. Agreed? I've already done the working before, so I will use my previous working. 9.2 and 8. Have a good look so that you are clear what I've done. So 9.2 and 8. Now, can I work out the total revenue and contribution? Yeah, I can. So my contribution okay will be how much? It will be 13,500 into 8. It's 108, right? And my sales will be, my revenue will be 13,500 into 9.2. Okay, 124,200. So you can see the figures of my contribution and my revenue. Just be calm. Just be calm. Don't start writing in the chat box. Just be calm. See what I'm doing here. Maybe your confusion will be resolved once I move on. Okay. So please stay chill. I'll answer all your queries. Done. So this is the gym revenue and profit. Now, what has been added in this working is okay. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Nice. Okay. So what has been added in this working? The only thing that has been added in this working is the new customers who came because of the new proposal. That's it. The rest all was same. So this 120 inclusion actually increased the contribution and the revenue of the gym. And these 120 came for gym. Try to make sure. These came for gym. And why these came for gym? Because they had the option of keeping their children there. Okay. So they wanted to come to gym because they could not come before of their children's. So now they are coming to the gym. So this increased the revenue and contribution of the gym. Okay. Because they have a facility to keep their kids there. So one benefit the gym got is that the gym revenue increased by 120 and the contribution respectively increased by 120. And secondly, because of this new proposal, they further received the revenue as well. They further have the revenue and contribution from this as well. So now let's work out the specific revenue of this proposal, the specific contribution of this proposal. Okay, so let's move on. Now, the customers who will take the service of their, who will take this service for their kids will be how much? 120, obviously. Okay, 120 who will take this service that relates to their kids. And how much will they pay per child? How much will they pay per child? So it's again very simple, not at all difficult. You know how much they will pay, but let's move on with the workings. So it's 120 new per day, right? Okay. And how many children on an average each have? So you can see here, each have two childrens. Each have two childrens, right? So number of childrens, okay, 2. This means total services for the childrens will be how much? 240 children will be there. 240 childrens. Okay, 240 childrens. Are you getting the point, everyone? 240 childrens, right? That is why I picked this question, because this was a bit difficult one, right? Okay, so 240 children, and I hope this is clear. No issues in this one. Now, how many days we have? 30. So total children per month will be how much? 240 multiplied by 30, 7,200. Let me quickly repeat. New customers who came per day, 120 because of this service. Each had two children. This makes 240 children per day. Multiply by 30 days, make this 7,200 children per month. 7,200 children per month. Okay, clear? Yeah, it's unfair for 6 marks, to be honest. You're right. Yeah, you are right. It's tricky. And figuring out this in exam condition, yeah, it's tricky, to be honest. I agree with you. I have this sympathy. I agree with you. Fazil, my friend, I'm again and again mentioning here that the 40, the current 40 who used to come 9 to 5 are part of 330. Okay, so that are part of this 330 figure, and these are 120 newcomers because it said it will increase by. The word is by. It's not to. It's by 300%. So this means 120 will be added. Okay. Yeah, 330 includes the first 40. Yeah, right. So done, everyone. Clear? Now, uh, do you know the selling price per unit per child? So I can work out the revenue. Yeah, you know this. How much is the selling price per child? Can you tell me? The question has stated it's 4. Okay, it's 4 per child. 4, right? 28,800. I'll just highlight this for you as well. It's 4 per child, right? Clear? Now, I hope this is clear to all of you and no issues. Okay, so it's 28,800, the revenue, and now the contribution. For that, I need to use variable cost as well of 0.5. I need to deduct this. So I get the contribution. So let's work out the contribution before I move towards my answer. So contribution. Okay. See the calculation, friends. Open the bracket. Selling price of 4 minus variable cost of 0.5 that I'll deduct. Is this the contribution per unit? Yeah. 4 minus 0.5 into the number of children, 7,200. Okay. And this is contribution for this proposal. The own figure rule will apply here. The own figure rule will apply here. If you have done any mistake above, the mark will only be deducted for that particular thing and not for the rest. Okay. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So friends, own figure rule will apply here. Now, are we in a position to work out this? Yes, we are in a position to work out this weighted average. And I'll tell you one important thing here. Just wait. I'll tell you one examination technique here. So I need to work out weighted average, right? So let's do it. Let's first work out the total contribution. So I'll add the contribution of both. Okay. Contribution of this proposal plus the contribution of gym. No cafes here. I'm sure you know why no cafes. And total sales. Okay. right? Clear? So weighted average is how much? This sales divided by, sorry, this contribution divided by sales. See? Clear? And the answer is, and you'll be shocked to listen here, you will not get 6 marks for this entire working. Okay, you will not get 6 marks for this entire working, because you also have to work out the budgeted profit as well in the question. I'm sure you are getting what I'm saying. You also have to work out the budgeted profit as well. So you'll not get 6 marks for entire working. The entire working marks will be 5.5. And you must be thinking here that so much work you have to do. Yes, it's right. But listen, now, if in an examination you waste so much time on this 6 mark requirement, listen what I'm saying. So instead, first complete those easy section A objective test questions of 2 marks each. Now just try to figure out, if you're investing 15 minutes on this to get 6 marks, let's assume you get the entire 6 marks. But in those 15 minutes, you can get 10 marks by doing 5 objective test questions of section A. Getting the point? So this is quite possible. You see this option of flag for review, this one. If you are not clear about this, you are not sure, just leave and move on. Leave this requirement and move on. Do the other parts. Do the section A question. Because in the navigation tool, you will definitely find this. See, you can see here, flag for review. You can see this flag. So look at the flag at the end and then spend your final time on these difficult things, so that you already have done what all was easy before. This is I used to pass my paper. This is I'm recommending you here as well. And you can see here, we have a confirmation from one of the student who said, I wasted my time for nothing. Instead, I should leave completely this for the examiner and tried others. That's strange. Okay, so yeah, this is what you have to do in the paper, and this is the working I've done for weighted average PS ratio. I hope this is clear to all of you. I've shown you the working here as well. Contribution is simply I've added the contribution of both the products. Okay, these two, right? I've added these two, and for revenue I've added these two, right? So I hope this is clear to all of you, and this is getting you the idea what you are supposed to do. The answer is 87.6%. Now the next part was to work out the profit. So let's work out the profit as well. It's easy. We have contribution here. You deduct the fixed cost of just gyms or both. Should we take fixed cost of just gym or both? Both, right? So you have fixed cost of 8,000 per month for this proposal, and the gym is 48,000. Okay, so it's simple now. 48,000 plus 8,000, 56,000, and you can just now work out the profit by deducting, and this is the profit. Okay, clear? So 0.5 marks for the profit and 5.5 mark for the calculation. But remember, own figure rule, which means if you have done anything wrong, so that will not be that will not have an impact on the other calculation. For example, if you forgot to take 2 here, okay? For example, if you forgot to take 2 here, you didn't take 2 here, so your marks will be deducted for this 2 only. I know your entire answer will get wrong. By not taking this 2, your revenue, your contribution, your CS ratio, everything will get wrong. But according to the examiner, there is own figure rule, which means that only deduction will be made where you forgot to do the calculation of number of children, or you didn't took number of children. So wherever you did the mistake, only that particular mark will be deducted. The rest marks, even though despite your answer getting wrong, even though you will get the remaining complete marks. And I would suggest here strongly, question like this is a one that should be left. And first you need to deal with the easy parts, and then the last time, the remaining time that you are left with, you should come back to this questions, so that if you are not able to do this, the only thing that you will lose is 6 marks. But on the other hand, your opportunity cost was much higher, and you could have done 5 or 6 OTs in the same time, and you've gained 12 or 10 marks from that. Okay, so yeah, it was difficult, but now after my explanation, what's your feedback? Is it clear to all of you? Please, after my explanation, is it now clear? Was my explanation simple and easy to understand? Is it clear? Happy, everyone? We are not doing relevant costing, Fahad. So that's why we'll not take any opportunity cost. Okay. Because fixed cost is a cost that remains constant. Even if you close the cafe, your gym is also there. So you need to pay the rent in any case. You need to pay the fixed cost. Okay. No marks for writing the formula in the paper. No marks for formulas. Okay. So I hope this is clear to all of you. And now it's time for our break. So let's take a break. It's 5:30 local time here. We'll resume 5:40. See you after the break. Okay, welcome back, friends. So, clear about this very important question of exam? Yes? Understood the calculations? Hello, are you here, everybody? Understood the calculations? Okay, so it was tricky, but yes, a very good question, to be honest. And yes, this required you to read the question very carefully. But examination technique, once again, will be really, really important. Okay, so just spend time, just keep a check on the watch every time you solve. 1.8 minutes per mark should be in your mind every time. Once that has been done, move on. Okay. Okay. What your question is, Muma, just let me know. Now, after this, let's move towards relevant costing, a topic that again is a one in which people do struggle every time. So, how you got 330? 330 is the most easiest thing. 330 is given here. Don't worry. Here you have 330. Okay. Just for you, I've opened this again. Here you have 330. Okay. Happy? Okay. So, relevant costing remains a challenge. In my last 3 webinars, I am consistently focusing on relevant costing, solving relevant costings in last 3 attempts of my webinar. So today I will go for a new area, obviously, as I always tell that there are 4 things that can come in your paper in relevant costing. The first is one-off contract, second is shutdown decisions, third is make or buy, and fourth is further processing. Okay. So I've covered this last time. I did this last in March 20. This I covered in December. Okay. Uh, this I covered again in the previous attempt. That was around, I think, December 19. Uh, so today again, my focus will be on one-off contract because this is more tested in your exam. Especially OTs that you see in your paper normally are from this one-off contract. So I'll target this again, but this time I'll target this in a section B question. Okay. Before I start, I will first give you the idea of the basics. I will give you the idea of rule of 5. Okay, that you need to keep in your mind. Rule of 5, right? So what is this rule of 5? Uh, Whenever you want to work out the relevant cost, whether it's for one-off contract, whether it's for make or buy, whether it's for shutdown or for the processing decision, you need to remember that the cost will only be relevant if that cost is an incremental cost, okay, or income, or it is an opportunity cost, right? So what is incremental? Anything that arises because of your decision, any decision you took that resulted in a cost, that is an incremental cost. Okay. Same for incremental income, is an income that arises because of your decision. You took a decision, you earn the income, that is incremental. So additional is basically incremental. Okay. What is opportunity cost? Cost of second best alternative foregone. You have 2 options. You selected one option, you left the second option. So the option that you left is your opportunity cost. For example, you want to go to play football or you want to study. Okay. So what will you do? Will play football or you will study? Come on, what's your answer here? Let's see what answer you are giving me here. Will you go for football, or you will, study? Okay. So now, for example, as people are saying football, obviously, so you went to play, okay? So you chose playing and you left study. So study is your opportunity cost, okay? So the option that you sacrifice, the option that you leave is your opportunity cost, okay? So this is opportunity cost. Now, then you have the next five rules, which is important, which is basically focusing why a cost is irrelevant. So a cost is irrelevant if that cost is a sunk cost. A cost that is a sunk cost, which means already had been incurred. It's a past cost at the time of the decision. Okay, at the time of the decision, the cost has already been incurred, so that is a sunk cost. I'll give you examples through questions. Okay, what is a committed cost? Committed cost is a cost that will be incurred in future. Okay, it's a cost that will be incurred in future, right? It's a cost that will be incurred in future, but the commitment to incur has been made in the past. So the commitment to incur has been done in the past, right? So at the time of taking the decision, you haven't incurred this cost. You will incur this cost in the future, but you have made the commitment to incur in the past. Okay, so it's kind of a minimum guaranteed minimum wage of an employee. You guarantee them, right? So this is a committed cost. It can also be said for a rent that you haven't paid, but the commitment has been done in the past, right? Notional cost is an imaginary cost. It's an artificial cost. It's an imaginary or an artificial cost. It's not a real cost, like you can say OAR, overhead absorption rate. Okay, for a fixed cost, it's a notional cost again, plus depreciation. Depreciation is a notional cost. Yeah, depreciation is a notional or imaginary cost. It's not an it's an artificial one, right? So all these things are irrelevant costs. Now it's rule of five: two things making cost relevant, three things making cost irrelevant. So whatever decision you are uh, taking using one-off contract or shutdown or make or buy or for the processing, you have to keep in your mind rule of five. Okay, rule of five, right? So you can cover these through my previous webinars. I'll share the link in the $1,000,000 plan, and you can focus on one-off contract section B. You can even use this section C question that I've done before. So let's now move towards relevant costing one-off contract. And normally what one-off contract is, an opportunity that you get that is a one-off one, and you are not, it's not your regular work. Okay, it's a one-off work that you do. It's not your regular work. So you get a one-off opportunity, and you have to use relevant costing. So now let's move towards section B. Remember, section B requires you to read the case and requirements very carefully. Make sure you apply the theories and techniques to the scenario given. Everything is all application based about, plus close reading is important so that you are able to correctly round off the answers. Okay, so now let's move towards the question for the second question for today, and this question is SIP company. So let's start with SIP company question and see how to handle this one. Okay, now we have it's a big scenario. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 requirements are here, and we'll try to relate these with the scenario. Plus, through these, I will explain you the 5 things of relevant costing, the 5 key things of relevant cost, that is incremental cost, and what you say, opportunity cost, sunk, committed, and notional. Okay. So now let's start with this question. Everybody should be ready. So let's quickly highlight certain things regarding the requirements. So it says, what are the costs to be included up for the upholstery, fabric, and kitchen? We need to include the cost in the quotation, so we have to use relevant costing. What should be the cost included in the quote for teak wood? Okay. Then you have what cost should be included in the quote for skilled and unskilled labor in one of contract. Okay. And then we have which option correctly classifies these costs. Please place a tick in the box in the table below. Which two? Again, two of the following are true. So these are the 5 things to work out. You have to solve these 5 things. Let's read the scenario. Let's see what are we supposed to do. Okay, so be with me. SIP company specializes in the refurbishing uh, the, just wait. Okay. Ship company specializes in refurbishing the inside of yacht and has been asked to quote, okay, on a relevant cost basis, right? Okay. So they have to quote on a relevant cost basis. The for the refurbishment of a yacht called bow. So for bow, we are asked for the quotation. Okay. The refurbishment will start in 1 week's time. SIP company has spent $100, okay, $100 obtaining the following information about the refurbishment. Okay, so the material requirement is, the materials required will be 20 meter of upholstery fabric and 10 meter of teak wood for the flooring. Okay, it's a refurbishment work, right? The cheapest source for the upholstery fabric would be from an overseas supplier at a cost of 85, right? SIPCO buys most of its fabric from overseas and pays 400 per month to a shipping company as a retainer, and then 7.5 for each meter transported. Okay. Now I'll stop here and I'll just make myself more specific to the requirements. So let's not read the entire stuff and let's move towards the first requirement. So it says, what are the costs to be included for the quote for the upholstery fabric and kitchen? So I'll go to the kitchen paragraph later on, and first I will work out the relevant cost that is required for upholstery fabric. Okay. So let's do the working of relevant costing. Let's understand what are we supposed to do. I'll do the calculation right here. So be with me. So this is the paragraph that I will highlight in front of you that I need to focus on. Okay. So this is the paragraph I need to focus on, and let's, okay, this is. Now, so what are we supposed to do? First of all, do we have this in inventory? We don't have this in inventory. Okay, so this means that we will actually buy 20 meters for this particular contract. Okay, so we require this fabric specifically, and we require 20 meters, right? So it will cost us at a cost of 85. Okay, so we'll multiply this with 85, and this is the cost that I will get specifically, right? So it's 20 multiplied by 85, that makes this 1700. Now if I apply the rule, and the rule is the rule of 5 I want to apply, so which kind of cost I think this is? Okay, so I'll cover up all these things. Now this is what? This is an, can you tell me? This is an incremental cost. Okay. If I buy I will incur this cost, and this is my incremental cost. Agreed? This is my incremental cost. Okay. So this is my incremental cost. So let me write here for you. It's an incremental cost. Anything else? Yes. What about this 400 per month? This 400 per month that we pay to the shipping company as a retainer. So is this 400 relevant or irrelevant? Okay. Now this is a question that you people have to answer. So this 400 is not relevant because this cost is the one that you are already paying them per month. Now, would you want to classify this as a sunk or a committed cost? So it seems more like a committed cost because you already have a commitment to pay such kind of a cost. So it's more like a committed cost that you will be incurring here. So this 400 is not relevant because it's a commitment, it's a retainer that you already have agreed to them. You pay them a monthly basis. Maybe you will pay in the next month, but the commitment to pay has been done in the past. Okay, so it's a committed cost. I gave you the example of committed cost here. It's a committed cost. The commitment has been done and you have to pay it at any cost. Okay, through. So this is a irrelevant cost, right? Now, after this, anything else in this upholstery? Yeah. What about this 7.5 per meter? So this 7.5 per meter, what to do for this 7.5? Now this 7.5 per meter is a relevant cost. Yes, because it's for each meter transported. So this is specific. Okay, it's a specific cost. If you buy, so this is additional you pay other than the retainer. So we have to consider this cost for sure, and we will consider this cost of transportation. So yes, I will take this 20 meters multiplied by 7.5 as well. This will be how much? So 20 multiplied by 7.5 will give me the answer of 150, and this is my incremental cost as well. So both are my incremental cost, and the total is how much? The total is 1850. Okay, through everyone. I hope this is clear. And the two concepts were used here. One was incremental, and second that I used was the concept of committed cost, right? So we are done with this one, and I hope there is no issue as far as this first is concerned. Things are clear to all of you in this case. Okay, so let's just a second. Okay, so let's move towards the next one now, and let's see what are we supposed to do in the next question. So this is 1850. I'm getting the answer, right? Okay, 1850. That's right here, 1850. Now, second, kitchen. What to do for kitchen? So let's go towards kitchen. Here we have the non-current asset paragraph. So let's read this now. A new kitchen will be required. Okay, this can be purchased for 4,500. Okay, the fitting cost will be 2,000. Okay, so let me write here the new kitchen incremental cost is 4,500 plus the fitting cost will be of 2,000. So the new kitchen cost will be 6,500. Alternatively, the existing kitchen can be refurbished. Now, alternatively, which means this is your one option and this is your second option. Okay, that is the refurbishment one. The materials for refurbishment will cost 4,000. Okay, so let's start doing the costing of this. 4,000 is the refurbishment cost, and 40 hours of semi-skilled labor will be employed for specifically refurbishment at a cost of 15 per hour. Now, do you think is this a relevant cost? Okay, Do you think is this a relevant cost of the semi-skilled labor? Yeah, it's a relevant cost of semi-skilled labor because material is a relevant cost, plus the refurbishment labor work is also a relevant cost. So 40 hours, right, multiplied by 15 per hour. Okay, so that makes 600. Okay, it's a 600 cost that is also relevant. 600 cost, right? Now, after this, it says that the fitting of refurbished kitchen will be 10% less than a new kitchen. Okay, so the fitting cost of this current kitchen will be 10% less. Now, the cost of the new kitchen fitting is 2000, right? It's 2000. So this means that I will add 2000 multiplied by, sorry, nothing multiplied by, yeah, 2000. Okay, so 2000, yes, multiplied by how much is the cost of refurbished kitchen fitting? So it's 10% less. So if it is 10% less, so I need to take what, 90% for this? Yeah, 90% I should take here. So this is 90% I'll take for this one, right? So if I add all these things, let's do it. 2000 into 0.9 plus 40 multiplied by 15 plus 4000. So this all makes up at 6400. Now, what do you think? Which option is good for you? Obviously, you need to go for the lower option. Okay. Now, if you go for this one, this is also an incremental cost that you'll incur. If you have this, so this is also an incremental cost that you will incur. So out of these two options, you will go for the lowest one, and the lowest is 6400, and this is your incremental cost. So because you are going for this option, so this is your incremental cost. Okay, so you have two options here. You will go for the lower one, and this is your incremental cost, and the answer is 6400. Okay, so friends, are we clear about this as well? A quick yes from everyone. Okay, so it's 6400 as a better option compared to 6500, and you've seen the calculations that I did. Why lower one? Anam, if you want to choose higher one, I have no issues. If you want to pay, so what you want? If something is going out of your pocket, so will you prefer paying higher or lower one? Obviously lower one, right? So that's lower one. Okay, right. So we'll take the lower one here, not the higher one, because Anam, obviously we need to reduce the cost. I'm sure you are getting my point, right? So we'll take the lower one. So let's move on. We are done with this first question, and it's 6400. That's it, right? Now, what would be the cost of teak wood? So now let's read the information for teak wood, and this saves your time in the paper. You read the entire stuff, then you go back again. It's better you try to segregate the things, you try to figure out the things that are segregated, and then just focus on those that you just have to read. Okay, now this is all for teak. Okay, this is all for teak, right? So let's read. SIP company has 5 meter of teak wood in inventory. Okay, so you have 5 meter inventory, right? 5 meter in inventory. Okay, so if you have 5 meter in inventory, this means that you will now let's look at the options, which costs 100 per meter. So you bought that some time ago, and that is 400, right? And could be sold at 5% discount on original cost. So the original cost is 100. Okay, so for how much amount can you sell this in the market? Any idea, anyone? So you will say obviously 100 multiplied by 95%, so this gives you 95. So you can sell this for how much? 95, right? Okay, sell this for 95. Okay, the teak is left from a previous job. So this is a leftover previous job and is stained dark mahogany. So it's stained dark mahogany. The color of the stain required for bow tan is lighter, and the cost of sanding and staining the teak are. So it's a leftover, and you need to repair this. Okay, you need to refix this. Okay, because of the color. So it will require sanding and staining is also needed, and reset of staining machine. Okay, reset of staining machine arising after each job is completed. Okay, after each job is completed, so you need to just reset, and the reset cost is job wise. It's job wise cost, right? So that will arise. Okay, to ensure the color of the teak is consistent, all the teak for one job is stained. Okay, now try to figure out. This means to make sure that color is constant, so you need to stain all the teaks, whether it's the old one or the new one, at the same time. And the staining cost is the same irrespective of the age of the teak. Okay, the staining cost remains at 4.5. The cost of purchasing the new teak is 110. Okay, new teak can be stained the correct color for bow with no preparation. So now the situation is given to you, and now what I'll do here, I will try to make things easy for you. I will try to just give you a very good guidance as to how to short shortlist the figures. So in relevant costing, it's very important to figure out what is not relevant. Okay, so if you try to figure out what is not relevant and you just shortlist the figures, so you are left with few numbers to play with then. Okay, so just shortlist the things. Now if I say this 100, so this 100, so this figure of 100, this will not confuse me if I take a decision on this. And this 100 is what? It's an irrelevant cost because it will be classified as a sunk cost. So it's your past cost, already had been incurred. You bought it some time ago, you paid for that already. So right now, standing at the current position, you don't have to go towards that, and that's a sunk cost for you. Okay, so it's gone. Let's shortlist the figures. Now so 100 figure itself is not relevant. Okay, but by just reading this entire stuff, it's clear that how much exactly you need. So yeah, I need to check. I exactly need 10 meters of teak wood. Okay, so let's now start the working. So I need 10 meters, and I'll split this into two parts. We'll split this into two parts. Now 5 I have in my inventory here. So let's start with the more easy option. If 5 you have in the inventory that you may want to use, okay, you may want to use. The question is, what about the other 5? So let's start with the easy things. So what to do with the other 5? So it's simple. 5 you have in the inventory, which you may think to reuse, but the other 5 you will buy from outside. So you need to buy the other 5 new from the outside, and it cost how much? It cost 110, right? So this other 5 is very straightforward. You know what you have to do. 5 into 110 will give you 550. Now this 5 is purely your incremental cost. Okay, see the way I'm handling the situation, making it clear, simple, easy for you, and picking things one by one. Okay, so 5 meters is clearly decided that I'll buy from outside, and that will cost me 110. So now the only decision that I need to take is 5 meter that I already have in my inventory. Okay, so what to do for this 5 meter that I already have in my inventory? Now, for the remaining 5, it is decided that I'll buy from outside for 110. For the 5 that I have in my inventory, what two options are coming in your mind? Can anyone quickly pitch in and let me know the quick options that are coming in your mind, or there is no option? So yeah, for this, I have two options in my mind. Okay, one is uh, use existing one, okay, or second is buy the new one, right? Buy the new one. Okay, so now if I buy the new one, that will cost me 110, right? So let's look here at the option if I use the existing one. For that, I need to check whether using the existing one will cost me more or less than buying from outside. Okay, so I'll compare these two and then I can decide, okay, I have to use existing one or I need to buy the new from outside. So let's do the calculation of this here, and this calculation will be done for the used one. So let's have a good look here. For the 5 meters that I will use that already I have in my inventory, so the first cost that I will incur is the cost of sanding, right? The cost of sanding. So what do you think? I need to incur the cost of sanding here. Yes, I need to incur the cost of sanding. So that is 14 per meter. Okay, this is the cost of sanding. Okay, cost of sanding. Done. Okay. Second, second. What is second? Listen, what is second? Second is the now this sanding is what? This is an incremental cost, right? This is an incremental cost because I will incur this sanding cost. It's my incremental cost. Okay. Now, if I'm using the current 5, I'm foregoing one thing. And what I am foregoing here? Can you tell me? I'm foregoing here the opportunity to sell this at 95 per meter. Okay. So by using this, I'm not able to sell this in the market at 5% discount. Okay. So I'm losing this opportunity. And if I'm losing this opportunity, this means I'm doing a sacrifice. And if I'm doing a sacrifice, this 95 per meter is my opportunity cost. This is my lost income. Okay, what is this? This is my lost income. Are you all getting the point? This is the lost income. So I can even write this here as well to make it more clear to you people. It's the lost income. And this is my opportunity cost. Agreed, everyone? Yeah, it's my lost income. So it's my opportunity cost. Now, if you see, I add these two. So I come up at how much? I come up at 109. Now you decide. 109. Now you decide whether it's good to buy at 110 from outside or it's good to use the current one for 109. Is the internal rectification a good option or buying from outside? So you need to compare these two, and the decision will be obviously that we will not buy this from outside, rather we'll use the one that we have internally. Okay. Okay. Now the question that might come in your mind is why I didn't took this staining part here. Okay, why didn't I took this staining part here? Is because that is because this staining is something which you need to it's not a committed cost. Now it's wrong to say it's a committed cost. This staining will be required irrespective of what you buy or you rectify internally. So it says irrespective. Staining is needed for both the one that you're buying from outside. So you will charge the staining cost to that as well, and you'll charge the staining cost to the one that you are rectifying in-house, because you need to make sure that all the teaks look same. Okay, so the staining cost is basically something that you incur when you buy it or you rectify in-house. So the first thing that we had to look here was, what should we do for the 5 meters? So the 5 meters, it's decided that we will basically rectify it in-house. Okay, okay, that's nice. Now you might be thinking, is it the answer? No, this is not the answer. So let's move on. Let's move on. Now let's do one thing on the basis of what I've concluded here. 5 meters into 109. If someone can quickly work out and tell me, 5 into 109 means 545, right? So this is basically clear now that uh, the in-house 5 meters will cost me 545, and the 5 meter I'll buy from outside will cost me 550. So these two are my costs up till now. These two are my relevant costs up till now. Okay, but it's not enough now, because I'm working out the relevant incremental cost, right? So what to do now? Now I'll take the cost of staining here. Staining is a relevant cost, and I should take the cost of staining as well. What do you think, guys? We should? Yeah, we should. So staining we have to take separately. So now I'll do one thing, that I will also take the staining cost. And how will I work out the staining cost? It's 4.5 into, can you tell me the meters that I should take here? So I'll take the 5 meters that I'll buy from outside, because consistency is important, and the 5 meter that I have rectified, both will be used, which means I'll multiply this with 10. Yeah, 10. So this staining cost will be 10. Now OTs like these are difficult in your section A as well, and this is what people these are the question which people are not able to handle in the paper. So yes, try to figure out, this is the complexity you have to handle. Okay, so done, no issues, clear, straightforward, up to the mark, to the point. Getting the point? Now this is the cost, which is 450. Okay, so do you think I'm done? Do you think I'm done? No, because you will use the machine on this job. So whenever you use the machine on a job, you also incur 80. So yes, we also have to take the cost of the staining machine. Okay, we also have to take the cost of staining machine, because this cost is dependent according to the job. Yeah, so I will take this as well. Okay, I will take this as well. Are you getting the point, my friends? Okay, so this is also a cost that I have to take here. Now let's finalize the final figure. Okay, so what is the final figure? So let's look here. What will be the final figure that I should take here? It's 550 plus 545 plus 45 plus 80. So all these will make up how much? Can anyone of you tell me the figure, the total figure? Yes, please. So the answers I'm getting is 1220. Yeah, 1220. is the relevant cost of this option? And it's a very good question, to be honest. Very, very good question. Okay, I'll explain this again. Staining cost. Staining cost, if you look here, staining cost is a cost that will be incurred irrespective of the age of the teak. Okay, this means whether you buy the new one or you buy the old one. Okay, so you will incur this irrespective of, in any case, right? Which means the 5 that you bought from outside, the 5 that you are using within the company that you have in your inventory, on this entire 10 you'll apply the staining cost of 4.5. Okay, okay, the last two costs are not irrelevant costs. Don't consider these two as irrelevant costs. No, listen, you are calculating cost for the job. It's for the job, right? The job that you will perform. So if you will use the staining machine, okay, so you need to incur the cost of resetting machine as well, because this entire 10 meter will be used on a staining machine. Yeah, so that is why if you use staining, you will reset the machine and that will incur a cost of 80. So you are doing the costing for this job, and the cost that I've taken here relates to the entire job. So this entire figure is a relevant cost. Okay, understood, guys? So you can easily expect an objective test question coming something like this in your section A as well. Are you all getting the point? Clear? Understood? Easy to understand now? Clear, guys? A quick yes or no? So the way I explained this step by step, is it clear? Okay, so done. Great. Today was all calculation day. You just saw today was all calculation. Yesterday we were doing theory more. Today was it's all calculation. Okay. Now, is it too much working? So Alex, I'm sorry, I need to contact your examiner for it, and I need to tell examiner. Now, Alex, one thing I need to tell you, listen, some questions will take more time, the others will take less time. Okay, so you need to average it out in the paper. So this question is taking more time, but the previous one didn't took too much time. So the average that you need to keep in your mind is 1.8 into 2, which means that 3.6 for one question. So you have 18 minutes altogether, right? So you need to make sure that within 18 minutes you are done. So that is why first solve easy OTs in the 18 minutes and then the difficult ones. Yeah, Zishan. Zishan is saying that both the questions today we did were taking more time. So listen, these two will not come in one attempt, okay? Because examiner also sets a balanced paper. Examiner will not do that all the difficult questions will be given in one attempt. So the examiner will balance out. One section B question will be a bit easier compared to the second one. Okay, Zishan? Okay, now done with this one. If they come, then you have to solve it. No issues. Then you don't have any option. Okay. Now let's move on, and the answer is 1220. Yeah, it's 1220. Here the answer is. Okay. Next is third one. What costs should be included in the code for skilled and unskilled? Okay. So let's now move towards the paragraph of labor. Yeah, here is the paragraph of labor. We have a good amount of space as well. So I'll just try to book my space. This is the paragraph. See the technique. Are you learning the technique how to deal with section B's? I've really focused this time on section B's from day one. Okay, because theory and section A and B is the main trouble for the students. Okay, now 100 hours of skill. First, let's focus on skill and let's not focus on skill. So let's just focus on skilled only. 100 hours of skilled and 56 hours unskilled will be required. Okay. Skilled labor is paid at a market rate of 25 per hour and is currently fully employed on another job. Fully employed is important for me, which means uh, the skilled labor currently is working on the other job and he's busy and you can't touch him. It's a situation where you can say there is no spare capacity available. Okay, so no spare. Where they earn a contribution of 8.6 per hour. So the job where the labor is working, they are earning a contribution of 6 per hour for the business. Alternatively, new skill labor could be employed. Now, alternative gives you the option, but new workers will require a training at a cost of 14 per hour for the first 10 hours that they are working. Okay. Now, you need how many hours? You need 100 hours. So again, do you have options? Yeah, the question has given you options. One is use existing labor, the one who is busy. Second, use new labor that requires training. Now you need to work out the figures for both and compare. So let's work out for the first one. Use new labor. So 14 hours at a cost of 10 is a training cost. There are two costs involved in this. Number one is the wages that you will pay them. 25 into 100 is the hours required. That makes 2500. Second, the training cost. 10 hours into 14 is 140. So the cost is 2640 if you opt for the labor from outside. Okay. And now let's compare with the cost that you will incur if you go for the existing one. Now, if you go for the existing one, uh, what will we lose? So we lose $6 contribution. Okay. So this $6 per hour will be contribution loss. And this is your opportunity cost, right? Plus the wages of 25 per hour. And this makes 31 per hour. Okay. So 31 per hour altogether is the total, right? So how many hours do you need? 100, and that makes 3100. Now you need to compare this with this and take a decision what to do. So can you tell me which is the better option? Either to use the existing labor uh, or to use new labor and train them. So obviously the cost of new is lower and we'll select this lower option. Agreed? Clear? Lower is cheaper. Yeah, lower is cheaper. Got it, everyone? I hope this is clear to all of you. So we had two options. So we took the decision using both, and this is your incremental cost that you will incur, and this is your relevant cost. Got it, everyone? A quick yes from everyone. Okay. Actually, the incremental cost, if even if you ignore it, so your decision would again be a similar decision. Okay. Uh, this is the question from, yeah. So just the question went up. So if you ignore it, for example, so still your decision remains the same, right? That doesn't matter. Okay, and that doesn't matter, but the incremental figure that you will pay to the labor is basically 2640, right? This is the payment that you will do exactly to the labor. So that is why it's a cost that you have to consider. So there are two options. You have to select the lower option. Okay. Okay. So the point here is that you just saw here that you had two options. You compared the two options and you went for the lower option, the lower cost option, and this is 2640, and this is the answer for you people. Now, any issues, guys? Okay. So this is clear. Uh, and this is something we came to the conclusion here and what we need to take. Now, one thing I need to answer here is very important to just try to listen what I'm saying here. Normally, students don't understand this fact that I just want to explain here. And this will just clear certain students' questions. Just listen what I'm saying. Normally, students say, okay, this is a new labor, okay, this is a new labor, and we will pay 25, so that's perfectly all right. Okay, that is basically perfectly all right. We need to pay. Okay, and this training cost is an incremental cost. That's perfectly right. Then when it comes to the first option, they say, okay, we are losing $6 contribution. We are losing $6 contribution. So that is a loss. This is our opportunity cost, and we should charge this cost to the sacrifice that we are doing. Okay. So yeah, this is perfectly fine. But people sometimes do ask me why you are taking 25 again, because their point is that this 25 per hour basically is the wage that you will continue to pay to your existing labor. Okay, anybody has the answer? So this 25 of the existing labor is something that you continue to pay. You will pay to the existing labor, and if you ask them to work on this project, still you will pay. So people say that this 25 should not come. Why we take this 25? Because we continue to pay to the existing labor. If you're hiring a new labor, okay, you have to pay, that's fine. But why are you taking here? No, you are not getting the point. So in this existing case, why we took this 25? This is the question. This is not the cost of a new labor because this is the existing labor, right? So why we took this one? So now listen very, very, very. Yeah, you had this question long time, and today is the day when I will resolve this problem. Many students have this problem. Today I'll explain you why. Why this 25 came here of the existing labor that you will continue to pay. So listen, technically speaking, this 25 of the existing labor is an irrelevant cost. Listen to me. This 25 per hour is an irrelevant cost, technically, of the existing labor, because the labor is fully employed, you are already paying them. So then why you have taken here? This is an irrelevant cost. And listen, if I will not take this cost here, then it will become a relevant cost. So you might be saying, sir, are you joking? So listen carefully what I'm saying. If I will not take this 25 here, then I will make this a relevant cost. And technically, it's an irrelevant cost that I should not take. I should not take. So why are you taking then? Now, let me explain you. Can you tell me how I work out contribution? We work out contribution how? It's selling price less material cost less labor cost, and we calculate contribution per unit. Getting the point? Right? This is how we work out contribution. Now listen, labor cost is already deducted when you have a contribution. So the contribution that is given in the question is 6. Can you see this 6? This 6. Now this 6 is a contribution that is actually after the labor cost. There would be some kind of a selling price. From that, you would have deducted material cost and labor cost. And once you deduct these two, then you arrive at this 6, right? Getting the point? So the labor cost already had been deducted in this contribution of 6. Listen, do you agree when I say contribution? So what comes in your mind? Is the basic labor cost already deducted from this 6 contribution? You tell me yes or no. First of all, tell me this, yes or no. So if you say yes, this means if you just take 6 here, this means you are making this labor cost a relevant cost, which should not be the relevant cost because the labor is fully employed. And if you ask labor to work at this job or work at this job, that doesn't make difference. So from relevant costing perspective, this 25 labor of existing is not an incremental cost. It's not an incremental cost. Are you getting the point? So this means if you will just base your decision on 6, you are making labor cost relevant. That is why what we do. We know the cost 6 is after the labor cost. That's why we add the labor cost back into this to come to a contribution. That is before labor cost. We work out this contribution before labor cost. Getting the point? See, conceptual thing. So 6 is the labor cost. We add back 25 into this. Okay, we make this 31 because we know that 25 has already been deducted from this contribution. So to make this labor cost irrelevant in this case, we add the labor cost back to reach to 31, and this 31 is a contribution which is before the labor cost, because to be honest, labor cost is not relevant here in existing capacity case. I'm talking about only. Okay, so it's not a relevant cost, and that's why we add back to ensure that this doesn't remain relevant cost anymore. Got it my points? Ali, not throughput, please, not throughput. Okay, are you getting the point? Understood the concept? And guys, did you understood the concept? This is a missing element. Every time students are not sure about this one. Understood? So we add this back. We add this back to make this irrelevant. Okay, because once a contribution, so remember the entire variable cost has been deducted from this, whether it's material or labor. So we add this back labor cost so that the impact of labor is eliminated, and then we are left with a contribution figure of 31, which is a one in which you just have deducted the material cost. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Okay, so I hope this is clear. That is why I added 25 back into this and made this 31 for my decision making purpose. Now this 31 is basically a relevant figure, because in this 31 you've added back the labor that is already deducted from 6. If I say contribution, means labor cost has been deducted already. So if you add it back, you are at a figure in which there is no more labor cost, because labor cost is irrelevant. In existing situation case I'm only talking about, not in case of hiring the new labor. Okay, so I wanted to make this clear because in books you have a rule, and the rule is loss of contribution plus labor cost, and you add it, and that is a relevant cost. People don't exactly know the background behind that, so I made the background clear here today. I hope you liked the explanation. Anyways, the answer is 2640, the lower of. Got it, everyone? Okay, it's 2640 for the skilled labor. Right. Marukh, anyways, it doesn't affect your calculation, but quickly I'll just tell you once again. 6 is the contribution in which labor of 25 has already been deducted. When I say contribution, it's a common sense that all variable costs will be deducted from that. Okay, so 25 is the labor cost that you will incur because labor is already employed at your place. For you, it's not an incremental cost. For you, it's kind of a committed cost, right? Okay, so to make sure that we are not considering this 25 as relevant, from this contribution, it has already been deducted because it's contribution per hour. Okay, per hour, right? So we added this back to come to a contribution which is before the labor cost, and that's why it's 31. Anyways, normally people don't understand this concept much, but I just made it clear. As a rule, you can remember it's sum of loss of contribution plus labor cost. That's fine, but as a concept also I explained you today. Unskilled labor are currently paid at 12 per hour, and each of 5 workers is guaranteed a minimum wage of 420 per week. Now this is also interesting. Each skilled employee has enough work allocated to them for the next 3 weeks to earn 372 per week. Okay, the work to be done by the unskilled labor now on BOE must be completed within first week of the project starting, and overtime is paid time and a half. Now try to figure out the situation here. Unskilled workers are paid 12 per hour. That's fine. There are 5 workers you have. Now how many you need on this project? You need 56 hours. Okay, so you need 56 hours, right? Okay. You are paying them a guaranteed minimum wage of 420 per week. Is that true? Is that true? Now, guaranteed minimum wage is what? Is it relevant or irrelevant? So, guaranteed minimum wage is a committed cost. You will keep on paying because of the commitment you have done, whether you have work or not, whether you work, whether you use that labor on one work or other, you keep on paying them. So that is irrelevant cost. It's a committed cost, right? So 420 per week you pay them, and the per hour rate is 12, right? Each unskilled employee, remember the word each, has enough work allocated to them for next 3 weeks to earn 372 per week. Okay, so this means that they have work amounting to 372, right? So can you tell me how many hours of the labor are currently engaged already for which you are paying them? Can anyone of tell me how many hours of labor they are already engaged for which you don't have to make the additional payment, and they are totally busy in those? So you can work out that very easily. How? 372 divided with 12 is the rate per hour, which means that how many hours are already engaged of the labor. So 372 divided by 12 makes how much, guys? 31 hours. 31 hours of labor is already engaged. Already engaged. Getting the point? You pay them for 420. You pay them 420 per week. So for how many hours do you pay them? 420 divided by 12. 420 divided by 12 makes how much? 35. Okay, so you pay them for 35 hours and 31 hours they are already busy. Getting the point? Getting the point? So 420 divided by 12 means 35 hours you pay them, okay, and 372 divided by 12 means 31 hours they are already occupied or busy, right? Getting the point? Now calculate the difference of these two. How many hours are spare? How many hours are spare? So 4 hours are spare. 4 hours are spare. Okay? 4 hours are spare. Are you all getting the point, friends? You should be. 4 hours are spare here. Now, what to do for 4 hours? So, can you use them for 4 hours? Yes. Do you need to pay them for those 4 hours? No. You don't have to pay them for 4 hours. So, this 4 hours is what? Per worker? Yes or no? Okay. So, now what will we do here? How will we work out the cost of the remaining hours? Any idea? How many hours we need to okay, 4 hours are spare, and this relates to how many workers? One worker, right? So 4 into 5 people you have. 4 fives are 20 hours are spare. 20 hours are spare and zero relevant cost for 20 hours. 20 hours are spare. Okay. So how many we are left with? 56 minus 20. How many we are left with? 36 hours we are left with. 36 hours we are left with. Getting the points? Such a great question. So for those 36 hours, what we'll do? We'll work them over time for time and a half. For time and a half. So what will be the hourly rate? 12 plus 6 is 18, right? You know time and a half? It's 12 plus 6, 18. Okay? 12 plus 6, 18. So what is the answer? 36 into 18 will give you 648 is the relevant cost. 648 is the relevant cost. Understood, everyone? Interesting. Interesting. See, I'm only picking difficult questions, not going for easy ones. Okay? So, a quick overview. A quick overview is it's time and a half, my friend. Hourly rate plus the premium. It's a basic thing. Okay, 12 plus 6, time and a half. Okay, now what I quickly did was $420 cost you pay them, which means considering the rate per hour of 12, you are paying them for 35 hours in a week, guaranteed hours. Okay, this week they have a work for $372, which means 372 divided by 12 means they are busy for 31 hours this week. Okay, so 35 hours you pay them. Out of that 31 hours they are busy. So the hours that are spare are 4 hours. Hours that are spare are 4 hours, and it relates to each, as it was said, each, which means 4 into 5 workers means 20 hours are spare. 20 hours are spare. Yeah, 4 per worker, right? Because it says each. See the word each. Okay, each, right? This means that 20 hours are spare. You need 56. So 20 are spare, no relevant cost for them. For the remaining 36, you will use them time and a half. You will pay them time and a half as overtime. So 12 plus half is 6, that makes 18, and the relevant cost is 648. Okay, a question from a student: if the answer of skilled labor is correct and the answer of unskilled labor is wrong, so will you get 2 marks or not? Or will you get 1 mark, the half mark? So you will get 0, 0. You will get 0. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Got it, everyone? Interesting. Where did we got 56? Oh, brother, 56 is written in the question. Question. Okay. Understood, everyone? Interesting. Yes or no? Come on. Are you all with me? Because you are given with the option of overtime only. How will you cover up the remaining hours? This is a common sense. You need 56. How will you cover up with the remaining hours? So Karthik, we only have one option, and that is of overtime. Okay. Okay. So it's 648, and if both are correct, then you will get marks. Right. Now, the last two, theory based. Which option correctly classifies these costs? Place a tick in the boxes in the table. Below appropriate, I just missed out one paragraph. It is factory policy to add 2200 per week to a project. For the duration of the project, this is to cover factory rents and rates, plant equipment depreciation, interest on long-term loans to purchase plant and equipment, long-term loan, profit element. Okay. Okay. So what to do? What to do now? Now, come on, quickly decide. Factory rates, committed or notional? It's an irrelevant cost. Okay. Come on, be fast. Factory rates, committed or notional? It's committed cost. Rent and rates, committed cost. Rent is a committed cost. Okay. Committed cost. It's not an artificial or imaginary cost, right? It's a rent that you pay. Depreciation, committed or notional? Depreciation, notional. See, this question is not taking time. So if you spend more time on calculative parts, these are the parts that you can solve quickly. And here you are saving the time, and that time you can spend on those difficult parts. So this is the planning, execution. This is the examination technique that I'm focusing from day one. It's not about doing 100% paper. It's about the technique that you should know. Work on the technique. Easy marks, easy marks, easy marks. Okay. Now, interest, notional or committed cost. So tell me, do you pay interest? Is it imaginary, or we pay interest? We pay interest, right? So it's a committed cost. It's a committed cost. Okay, done. So this is the time saving you can do. Finally, an easy one. Yeah. Now, to be honest, in this webinar, I'm not focusing on easy questions. I'm focusing on those that requires you and the proper understanding. And this is what this webinar will bring a change in your mindset. You will learn new techniques. You will learn how to handle difficult areas. I hope I'm trying my best. I don't know whether I'm successful in doing this or not. Anyways, which two of the following are true? The $100 spent obtaining the cost information should be included in the quote. Now, should we include this $100 that they spent on obtaining the information initially, which was mentioned here? Here. No, it's a sunk cost. Already had been incurred. Okay. At the point of decision making, already had been incurred. So it's a sunk cost, not relevant. Done? Okay. SIP company should consider the effect of the refurbishment on the tax the company will pay and include the tax effect in the quote as a relevant cost. Now, is it true or false? Is it true or false? Now listen, obviously if you get the revenue from this project, so the revenue may have an impact on your taxation, right? It may have an impact on your taxation. Listen, so if you are charging someone, okay, if you are charging someone and you get the revenue from that, so that could have an effect on your taxation, the tax you pay to the government. Okay, that could have an effect on your taxation, and if it is the case, the relevant taxation that gets affected because of this project, so that tax amount that will arise because of this project is a relevant cost, and this is relevant. You should consider this. Now majority I am seeing on the screen are saying irrelevant, irrelevant, irrelevant. But this is relevant because you didn't understood the meaning of this. Yeah, see, you will go for this project. If you go for this project, you get the revenue from this. It may have effect on your taxation. Okay, and the effect of tax came just because of this project. So this is a relevant cost. It's a future related thing. You take the project, your tax amount gets affected because of that. So that figure which came because of this project, the tax figure which came into presence because of this project is a relevant cost. Okay, and majority was saying here no, false, because they didn't understood. Now what we do in paper, something which is difficult to understand, we think that is not an option. We make our life very simple in that case. We say, oh no, that could not be the option. No, that's wrong. It's not that you didn't understood could not be the option. It's an incremental cost. It could be an incremental cost. If you're paying more tax, for example, so that additional tax that you paid is an incremental cost. Yeah. Okay. I hope this is clear now. Opportunity costs arise when scarce resource which has an alternative use in the business is used in the project. I'm sure everybody will agree this is a relevant cost, right? This isn't true. But because two statements were required, so people thought, okay, the last could be true, which is wrong. Relevant costing is a technique used in CVP analysis. Now today we did CVP. So did we use relevant costing in CVP? Come on, tell me, did we use relevant costing in CVP? No, we didn't. But because people were sure about this one, you are sure about this one. You are not sure about this one. You are sure about this one. And because the requirement asked you to find out two things, so you said, okay, this and this. No, that's wrong. That's wrong way of selection. That's why we say that multiple response are difficult in the paper, because there could be more than one right answers. In MCQ, you need to select the best one, so you do it very easily. But in multiple response, you need to select more than one right answers, and that is a question where your concept gets really tested. Okay. So are you getting my point, everyone? Done? Clear? So these two are the right options. I hope this is well clear to all of you. Okay. So you just saw that I did use the technique of relevant costing here. I covered incremental cost, opportunity cost, sunk, committed, notional, everything. All 5 things were covered. Rule of 5. Remember the rule of 5 that I taught you? Entire rule of 5 was covered in this question. Understood, guys? What's your feedback? Understood? Okay. The $1 million plan for decision making will be shared on the WhatsApp group today. If you are not part of the group, please send me a quick message on this number. I'll add you in the group. I'll send you the link. So you will get link for relevant costing, other areas, linear programming, okay, and risk and uncertainty. Someone was asking me risk and uncertainty, so that will also be covered. Because factory rent and rates is a committed cost. You have to pay that, okay? So we consider this as something we have to pay anyhow, right? As you pay maintenance of a factory anyhow, so this is also you have to pay. Okay, Fahad, clear? Okay, guys. So quickly, I think I've covered all your questions today, side by side. So please share your feedback with ACCA. After the session, you get the feedback form. You can give me the feedback. How was the today's session? Overall, 4 days have been done. In these 4 days, how you feel? Are you confident? Did you learn new easy things or not? Please, I need your feedbacks. Come on, guys, give your feedback. How was the today's session? And up till now, are you satisfied with the way I'm teaching the $1 million techniques that I'm telling you? Are these good for you people to figure out, understand, yes or no? Are you happy? Okay, thank you very much for your feedback. Please share your feedback with ACCA Pakistan as well. Tomorrow we have another important day of advanced costing technique, and remain active on my WhatsApp group, because that will be a game changer till the paper. I will be with you till the last day of your exam. So be with me on the WhatsApp group. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.